Okay, so today's part of love is about loving yourself. What we talk about today is going to change all of your relationships with other people for the better, because it's going to change your relationship with yourself. Now, today is World Mental Health Day, and I wanted to talk about something that I feel is a really big part of mental health and has been a really big part of my mental health journey in particular. It is really scary, but today we're going to talk about my biggest fear. Okay, so the number one all-time, forever thing that scares me most about relationships, whether it's friends, family, sexual, whatever it is sharing. I'm talking about that like honest, vulnerable, like tear your chest open and give somebody a piece of your heart kind of sharing. It's the thought that I could do all of that and then end up alone again. And that's what relationships can be like. We give, then we wait for that response that we're hoping for, that yes, or the love, or whatever you want to call it. It's the search for the yeses. Do you like movies? Yes. Boom. And you get enough yeses, and that starts to add up into what we make out to be this perfect person. They're so great. They're sweet, they're funny, they're nice. They like pizza, they like movies. And that's how we tend to look for all of our relationships, this perfect person for who we already are. But then we get a no, and it's fucking devastating. I've found over the last 10 years that it's not about the yeses and nos. It's more about finding someone who helps you see yourself clearly. When I met Ange, I didn't know what I wanted in another person or relationship. I barely knew myself, but I knew what sounded good. I knew all the things that I had heard through movies and TV and what I'd seen and what I felt like I knew about love. Then when I met Ange, it was different, because she wasn't interested in the yeses and nos. She saw me clearly, even through all my walls and this kind of like opaque, lightly painted personality that I put on for everybody. And the problem was, she wanted to know me, but I barely knew me. And the things that I did know about me, I didn't think anybody else would want to know. Who'd want to know about all those scars and the broken parts of me? But when I met Ange, I met someone else who had been through the fire and who had come out on the other side. We talked in our first video, the fighting video, talked about the Frozen fight. And I'll bring it up here because it's necessary and because it is very, very scary for me to talk about, especially here. So I was heavily abused as a child, and I never told anybody to what extent until Angelina, as I was so scared. I was terrified that if I told her everything, that she wouldn't be able to look at me the same way, and that it would be too much and that she'd leave. The thing is, if she found out the truth and then chose to bail, then she'd be doing me a favor, because what's really scary is the thought of living a life with someone who doesn't actually know you. So I told her my truth. It's taken a lot of time and a lot of therapy, because it's not going to be a one-time thing. It's not a share once and then it's over. It's hard. Our mental health takes time. It took a lot of time for those scars to form, and it's going to take a lot of time to heal. That was better than being with her and keeping it inside, because it affected everything about who I was as a person. It affected how I slept. It affected how I got mad. It affected how I saw the whole world. I had to share. I had to let somebody help me, because I wasn't dealing with it on my own. And I know I was really lucky. Ange loved me way more than I loved myself, and for the last 10 plus years, she's been helping me fight for that. And not all of us have somebody else, but there are professionals, there are people you can talk to, there are friends. There's always somebody that wants to listen. So yeah, sharing is terrifying, but the truth is, being scared and sharing anyway is a part of love.